Seen this movie before? This is RamView.
It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline, Los Angeles.
Live from the studios of the Ram Cave and the home of the Camellias, I'm Joe Trosian, and this is RamView, the September 11th, 2024 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident? Need help? Got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues? Get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. And by Bench the app. Never get a zero on your fantasy team. Bench the app today. All right, there's a lot of stuff going on. We've seen this Ram movie before a little bit, but I got a feeling that too many people are kind of jumping off, right? The KBM is already bailing on the Rams. I can understand it. I'm not even going to fault Colin Cowherd for taking the Rams out of his herd hierarchy. But let me remind you of this. The boundaries which divide life from death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where the one ends and where the other begins? Edgar Allan Poe, premature burial. And I think maybe it's a good thing. I think if you're going to deal with everything that came out of this weekend, okay, didn't like the loss, hated the injuries more, right? The injuries bothered us more than the loss, I think. And everyone's writing you off. That's a wonderful spot to be in if you haven't written yourself off, right? I've been written off before. A lot of us have been written off before. And it's a good spot. I love it. You know why? Because I'm full of spite. You know, like the Force runs strong in the Skywalker family. Spite runs strong in me and my family. And I like to think it runs strong in Rams Nation and with the Rams because everyone's going to start writing them off. But I believe the Cardinals are favored at home. They had a pretty good performance against the Bills on Sunday. We'll talk about that more as we get into more of the show. But the feeling is, okay, let's write off the Rams. And I don't know if you should write off the Rams. Okay, let's get to the Ram stuff right away. Steve Avila, Puka Nacua, and Joe Noteboom, all to the IR. Quickest return time is week 7. Rams are on a bye on week 6, so they buy an extra week there. That's good news. Darius Williams is still on the IR and scheduled back week 5. Kevin Dotson, as of now, is expected to play. Havenstein is limited, and Kobe Durant is nursing that big toe. Well, I don't know if it's the big toe, but he's nursing a toe. The offensive line, which I will say played better than people are giving them credit for. Some of those 1 and 2 point scores in PFF are ridiculous. Let's remember that A.J. Curry was at left tackle when the Rams rallied. I'm not saying he should be the starter. I'm not saying anything there, but he did enough that the Rams could stay competitive on Aiden Hutchinson's side of the field. I'm just throwing it out there, okay? So looking at the offensive line, the Rams have signed 6th-round NC State center Dylan McMahon off the Eagles practice squad. That's really interesting because the Eagles know offensive line, right? And they've got offensive line depth. And so I'm figuring if they're scouting guys like Dylan McMahon and had to pass him through waivers and brought him back, he's a dude that might worth a look. Also, it doesn't bode well for Mike McAllister, right? You're Mike McAllister, you're in your second year, and you're thinking, hey, maybe this is an opportunity for me. Apparently, McSnead didn't think so. They went with Dylan McMahon, and so that'll be interesting to see what the Rams do with him. They signed veteran Jaron Christian, and we'll talk about him. And they've also brought back Ty Nsekhe for a third go. This isn't just as a second go around with the Rams, but a third go. And to make room, they deleted Blake Larson from the practice squad and Jason Taylor II, 7th round pick from a year ago, and they've been bounced from the practice squad, right? Your practice squad guy, and you know when it happens at your position or another position, all of a sudden you're expendable. It's just a bummer. Okay, we shared on Monday, it said A.J. Curry was returned to the practice squad. Doubt very much if he sees action this week. So left tackle seems up in the air. You got one more week before Jackson comes back, Alaric Jackson. Guys, I see the questions piling up. Thank you so much for joining us on a much cooler day in the Ram Cave. I looked at PFF, and PFF actually slipped Warren McClendon into this spot. McClendon, I think, played a little left tackle at Georgia. With the Rams, it's only been right tackle. And I don't know if that's a real actual thing that we could see Warren McClendon at left tackle. The more likely one to me would be Ty Nsekhe. He turns 39 in late October. He took some snaps for the Rams back in 2012 in St. Louis and then came back in 2022. While everything was all madness that year, Nsekhe actually posted really solid numbers. In fact, I remember thinking maybe they should hold on to him, fearful of another event like this occurring. It didn't happen last year. It's happened this year. But you look at his numbers, PFF actually graded him 33 out of 81. That means 32 starting centers in the league. He's number 33. His numbers were really good. I think what's held teams back from really diving into Ty Nsekhe at this point is his age. He's going to be 39 in late October. So the Rams don't need him to play a full season. But if he can give the Rams a month, God bless him, give him a ring. If the Rams get one in February, if the Rams give him a ring and he's back in Tennessee at home, send it to him, invite him out for the parade because he could play his part. And if he could give us 4 weeks, 3 weeks until these guys come back, that would be marvelous, right? Jerron Christian was a third-round pick by the Taxkins in 2018 out of Louisville. He's not good, okay? Poor run blocker, slightly better in pass protection, runs about 6'5", 3 spins. He looks the part probably, but yeah, I'm not too high on him. But who knows? What the Rams see and what they go with. My odds, if it's got to be somebody, I'm thinking Nsekhe, right? Jonah Jackson looks locked in at left guard. Good. Bo Limmer, with all of Sean McVay's confidence, will be at center. Kevin Dotson, as of right now, they're saying Kevin Dotson is going to play. And then you have at right tackle either McClendon or Havenstein, right? Rams get Alaric Jackson back week 3. And if Havenstein doesn't go this week, he better be ready to go by week 3. If not, they should put his butt on the IR because it's time to get this ship moving with him. This has been going on for a month, and maybe he should have been benched or sidelined or idled a month ago. But if Havenstein is back and Alaric Jackson is scheduled to be back next week, that means the Rams will have Dotson with no further complications, Jonah Jackson, and their 2 starting tackles back in action for week 3 against Frisco. And then we're going to find out about Bo Limmer, right? We're going to find out about Bo Limmer. Waiting in the wings on the offensive line side is Logan Bruss to back up the guards. So we'll see, and we'll see how this plays out with practice squad players, what they do with Dylan McMahon and of course Jerron Christian. I can't imagine signing Ty Nsekhe, signing him at the age of 38, going on 39, and then practice squadding him. I seems weird. We'll see. All right, a lot of stuff going on. Busy day, short week. It felt like. I don't know why. Around the NFL and other places. We saw the 49ers just take apart the Jets. Robert Saleh moves to the top of the list of coaches who should be fired. That was just a poor performance to come out of the gate. And what I don't understand is the media makes it sound like anybody can run the 49ers offense, and they're highly critical often of Brock Purdy. And I've come to the point where I'm accepting Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, I'm not going to say he's great, but I will say he's a really good quarterback, and he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. And again, I'll say it, if Shanahan hadn't been schooled by Andy Reid, Brock Purdy might have very well won a Super Bowl last year, brought his team back 3 times in the fourth quarter to either tie or go ahead. Brock Purdy's not the problem. And the Jets just looked horrible. It's amazing that Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, is doing what Jimmy G couldn't and what Trey Lance couldn't. So, again, I don't wish the 49ers well, but they got their quarterback, and he looks really good. And it didn't intimidate me because I noticed also Frisco stock went up with everybody. They forgot they were playing the Jets. Even though the Jets are supposed to have a great defense, the Jets are the Jets, right? And they'll find 10 ways to Brita something when there's only 5 ways possible. And and they definitely Britted it against the 49ers. And I'll say this. I think Brock Purdy is going to keep Shanahan employed for a long time, because I think at a certain point, if the 49ers have another meltdown, another breakdown, at some point they're going to say, this guy's got the Tony Dungy effect in Tampa Bay. Maybe we need to do something else. I like Shanahan. I understand he's a good coach, but Brock Purdy's, I thought Purdy looked really well. On the flip side, Aaron Rodgers, man, that guy looked geriatric, didn't he? Aaron Rodgers looked absolutely ancient. And so that could be a problem for the Jets going forward. And Frisco's offensive line, Dominic Pooney there at right guard, dang, that Frisco offensive line looked pretty good, because the Jets defense is supposed to be pretty good. I don't know what was going on, but they got blown off the line of scrimmage. If I have one note to give to the Jets on this one, it is for Garrett Wilson. And my note to Garrett Wilson is, get your butt out of the Jets. Get your butt out of New York. Get out of there, man, because they're going to kill you. You're a really good receiver. Brown signed Kadarius Toney. Moving on here, I just want to go kind of fast a little bit. Coaches on hot seat. Tomlin, McCarthy, Mayo, Eberflus, Dennis Allen, Sean McDermott, Nick Sirianni, all won. Robert Saleh lost. And another bad loss. If they struggle against the Titans this week, soon and very soon, he'll be in the unemployment line. All right, guys, I'm Joe Terosian. As a sports writer for 21 years. Now I do RamView, thanks to our sponsors at Kistler Law. I also write books, and my books are on Amazon. And my latest book is Game Day in the Ram Cave. It's a novel, and it's about friends trying to watch the game without being bothered. Rams playing the Packers. Thanks for your support. A lot of you folks have picked this stuff up, and I do appreciate it. If you can give me a review, I don't care if your reviews aren't perfect or you didn't like the book. Well, I don't want an F. Give me a B or something. But thanks for your support on this and your support continually for the show. And I just wanted to also thank our sponsors at Bench the App. Their whole thing is, if you're tired of losing your fantasy games because you forgot to check your lineup, with Benched, that's a thing of the past. Benched is the only app that ensures you never leave a non-starting player in your lineup. Don't miss out on crucial points, and don't be the one who forgot to bench a player on game day. Win your league, keep your pride, sell the spite, and let Benched handle the rest. Download Benched today and dominate your fantasy season. All right, thanks to our sponsors, thanks to the books. Keeps me employed in my day job. I pastor a small church in Burbank called Burbank Faith Nazarene. You can find us right here on YouTube at Burbank Faith Virtual. If you have any questions, you can ask me about that. Also, BurbankFaithVirtual.com, Burbank Faith Virtual on Facebook, and all across social media. All right, let's see if we got any questions here as the questions piled up. Bill, hello, Joe T. This morning I had knee surgery. I am on the injured reserve like many of our Rams. Oh, no. Is it season ending, Bill? Is it season ending, or is it just the 4-week variety designated for return? I hope so. Tim Burns, I like adding Witherspoon at cornerback, at tackle. They are familiar with the Rams. I agree on that. The thing I like about Witherspoon is the first half of last season was great. He was terrific, but I think his legs go out on him. So if he could be spotted, if Kobe Durant can keep playing, if Trey White can keep playing, and the Rams can get clicks out of those guys, they limit the snaps. They limit the snaps of Ahkello Witherspoon, and he stays viable throughout the rest of the season or how long he's with the squad. So I do like that. Neski, as I said, in 2022, did a solid job for the Rams. Again, I think what hurts him is his age, and he probably can't go for a full season. But if he can give the Rams 4 games, if he can get the Rams to October, God bless him and give him a ring when the time comes. Tim Burns, looks like Giants should have paid Saquon. Poor Daniel Jones has no running game and no one to throw to. You know what? I'm going to wait another week before I do my mea culpa on Saquon Barkley. I'm not a big Saquon guy. I'm just not. There's something about him I just don't like and I don't trust. I just don't trust him. But the Giants, what are they going to do? Chase bad money? If they didn't believe in Saquon enough to give him anything more, they don't want to chase that money with Daniel Jones money. And my guess is Drew Lock going to be the quarterback pretty soon? I think I didn't hate Daniel Jones, but he just makes poor choices. I would go with Drew Lock if I was Brian Daboll. I really would. Tim Burns, and I feel your pain. I had 5 implants and full knee reconstruction 8 weeks ago. Ooh, wow. Okay. Brian B., thanks for clicking on. Rams own the Cardinals for how long? The Rams are 80% odds to win by the NFL weekly preview of the game. The Rams will be 1-1 after the game this Sunday. McVay has never lost in Arizona. Rams lost to the Cardinals in 2021 and 2022. The 2021 one really ticked me off because that was there was that game there, and Kyler Murray had a pretty good game. Of course, the Rams got even in the playoffs. The 2022 game, when I heard Kyler Murray wasn't playing, it was Colt McCoy, I knew the Rams were going to lose that game. I just knew they were, because Colt McCoy stays within the margins, and he's going to do he's going to take every little bit that Raheem and that passive defense that year gave them. But the Rams have never lost in Arizona. In fact, they won a big road game there in 2021. If you remember, that turned the tide. That was the Kareem Orr game. That was the NFL deciding everyone had COVID game for the Rams. That was the game Alaric Jackson stepped up in. And so, yeah, the Rams usually handle business against the Cardinals, and I think they will this time as well. J.D. Durham, who was the last first round to be drafted number 1, and how many years ago was it? Who was the last first round to be drafted number 1 for the Rams? For the Rams, are we talking Jared Goff, Sam Bradford? I'm not sure what that question is, JD. Let me know. Steve Ramirez, I feel if McVay can figure a way dealing with the injuries in game away to take a lead against a very good team, he can do it against one with a week to prepare. I believe that too. Yeah, the Cardinals are not the Lions. And think about this against the Lions. Forget about the touchdown in overtime. The Rams gave up 20 points in 4 quarters. And you could even say, it was a fluke that Tre'Davious White got burned on that touchdown, right? Those kind of plays don't really affect me as far as watching my defense. It's when my defense just gets steamrolled and trucked like they did in overtime. I think the Rams defense was excellent. You look at the grades, the scores, the Rams defense was solid. And I think Arizona is going to be a little less of a tough sled. I do like the Rams against the Cardinals this week. And because of McVay. Tim Burns, my dream for the next game, I want to see Stoops playing at least a dozen snaps. I don't think you're going to see it, brother. I don't think you're going to see it. If you do, I'll send you. I don't know what I can send you. I'll find something, right? Tim Burns calling upset. Saints over the Kyle Hags. Really? I think the Saints got fat off the Panthers. That's what I think. And so, yeah, I kind of like the Cowboys this week over the Saints. Tim Burns, got to love Tyreek pulling the race card while leaving out his behavior. Dude is an Antonio Brown. Yeah, we can talk about that. We can get into that one a little bit. If we have some dead time at the end of the show, that one's a rabbit hole, Chief, to go down. Tim Burns, Carolina may never win again. I agree. Tim Burns, I ask questions all the time, and I think it's the coolest part of your show. Thanks for doing this, Joe T. You're awesome. Knee replacement is the beginning of me needing new parts. I'm getting old, Okay, no problem. All right, guys. College football report. We didn't do this on Monday. It was just too much to talk about. College football. Alabama, Wisconsin this week. The Tide goes to Camp Randall. Alabama should blow them out, but I do like watching games from Camp Randall. Teams to keep an eye on. Arizona, Kansas State. That one seems interesting. Boston College, after that win at Tallahassee, is going to Missouri. Mizzou is in the top 10. I'd love to see that game. That one's interesting. Oregon State. That one should be interesting. Notre Dame, Purdue, which wasn't on my calendar earlier, but the way Notre Dame played against NIU, it could be interesting. Georgia's going to blow out Kentucky. I am interested to see how UCLA deals with Indiana in the Rose Bowl. As far as top teams, Notre Dame swallowed the jalapeno against Northern Illinois in South Bend. Riley Leonard, Sam Hartman, Jack Cohen. Who was the last 2-year starter for the Irish? Was it Ian Book? Colorado, what a disaster. Sayonara. Shadur's turning into a disaster. Illinois beats Kansas. That was a really good game. Iowa State beat Iowa. That one really surprised me. And Cal goes into Auburn and wins. Cal goes into Auburn and wins. And we won't talk about Michigan. All right. Number 10 team in the country, Nebraska. They're 2-0. North Carolina 2-0. I dropped UCLA out after Cal got the win in Auburn. I know Auburn's not Auburn, but they used to be. But I moved Cal in at number 8. Dropped Oregon in number 7. They're hanging by a thread. Boston College, best Catholic team in the country. Penn State is a very shaky 2-0. LSU, no hangover from the loss in Vegas. Texas, probably the best team in the country, but I'm going to keep them at 3. Number 2, I'm keeping Miami right there. Cam Ward, 3 more touchdown passes. And USC did exactly what it needed to do against Utah State. So I'm keeping USC there at number 1. Again, my top 10 is only of teams I've seen play. It's not everybody just yet. All right, continuing the Rams update. Looking at this stuff, hearing about Kyren Williams. I heard Kyren Williams, they said, did not look good. He averaged under 3 yards a carry. The thing about Kyren Williams not looking good is 3 starters and a backup were out. And another one, Kevin Dotson, was hurt, and then there was Bo Limmer at center, who was a 6th-round pick. Come on, let's not get crazy here. Blake Corum is a piece to this puzzle. He's a piece of this machinery that the Rams are going to employ, but Blake Corum's not a savior. You're not going to try to run Kyren Williams out so you think Blake Corum's going to come in and do this, because Blake Corum didn't get a snap. Now, could this week? Yeah, absolutely. I do believe this week you will see touches from Blake Corum and all those guys. Blake Corum, Ronnie Rivers, Kyren Williams. I do believe the Rams' best bet this week is to run. The Cardinal defense is terrible, and the Bills didn't exploit it enough because the Bills just didn't play well. They didn't play well. I got a feeling some of the Ram veterans that were around in 2022 are not about to go through that hell again. And I think they are probably deadly focused this week. And I think Arizona is going to pay a price. That's my personal belief. But Arizona does play hard for Jonathan Gannon. And we'll talk about the game in a minute here. But no, I think the Rams are going to pound the ball. And don't worry about Kyren Williams. Let him cough up a fumble or 2. Let him get hurt again. And then you can talk about Kyren Williams, needing some help or needing to be replaced. Much talk is centered around still that 4th and 4 at the Detroit 23 on Sunday night. And I've answered this for a few people. My belief is McVay did it thinking he was going to need a lot of points. In the end, it turned out Chris Shula's defense really exceeded expectations. Detroit's no chump team. Did anyone check out Amon-Ra St. Brown's great game? Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't have a great game. He didn't. And again, blown coverage by Trey White. I'm going to give him a pass on that. The double move that Jameson put on him. Other than that, Rams kept everything in front of them. And so the defense did a solid job against a really great, good NFL team, a Super Bowl contender. So I think if the Rams are 4th and 4 at the opponent's 23, given the situation, that this time McVay would probably go for the field goal. Also, that was Stafford's first interception in the red zone in 2 years. I think we can give the dude a pass. Looking at the defense, Jared Verse started out just like everyone hoped he would start out. 6 pressures, 2 hits, 3 hurries, and a sack. Byron Young, 2 pressures, a hurry, and a sack. And Kobe Durant was excellent. We hope that toe is good. Kobe Turner, the conductor, was good. The bit low on the line was Bobby Brown. Braden Fisk was middle of the road. Quentin Lake was really good in coverage, and I'm sure he had a lot to do with Alon St. Brown not having a big game. John Johnson was excellent, and so was Cam Curl. And so you're looking at this defense. They got the edge guys. They got some guys on the line, the safeties. Man, it's all about staying healthy. And then you got guys like Verse and Young that can go after it. I'm not worried about Roseboom. I'm not worried about Reader. They do what they do. They're basically the garbage guys. They clean up. And they did say Roseboom was being limited this week for right now. I know everyone's hungry to see some Spates, but I don't know. Rams did not look bad. The injuries are scary, but it makes me positive for September 15th. Rams-Cardinals. Cardinals projected to win 6.5 games this year. They're coming back from the game against the Bills. And then I'm not sure who they play next week, but they're going to be looking at the Rams, obviously. It's a big game for the Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon's a promising head coach. The team played hard for him last year. His coordinators, Drew Petzing, an offensive coordinator, and DC, Nick Raylis, are in their second year. Kyler Murray's the quarterback. Paris Johnson's the left tackle. Evan Brown's the left guard. And Will Hernandez is the right guard right now. Jonah Williams is supposed to be the right tackle, but Jonah Williams got banged up. I don't know if he's going to play on Sunday. That's not Rams defensive lineman Jonah Williams. That's former Bengal Jonah Williams. And so they've made some improvement on the offensive line. James Conner's there. Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch. Harrison only caught one pass last week. Wilson caught the touchdown pass. And I saw a quote from it was kind of an awkward quote from Kyler Murray, something about sometimes I don't have to throw it to Marvin Harrison. I don't know what it was. It was an awkward quote. I'll look at it again when we break everything down on Friday. So this is it's a respectable offense. It can be a respectable offense, but defensively, they got Zaven Collins on an edge and Dennis Gardeck. Collins is in his fourth year. He had a career high 4 sacks last year, not one after week 8. Dennis Gardeck was an undrafted free agent. He had 6 sacks last year and only 2 after week 4. So they're going to have a hard time. This is a good game to break in Ty Neske and Warren McClendon. Maybe it's a game to leave Havenstein out if he's not 100% healthy. Along the center of the line, they struggle. Kaiser White is a decent linebacker, but they've got trouble in the secondary. Of course, Budda Baker's still there. This is a defense that can be exploited, and I can see the Rams pounding the ball, and getting the best of them. I'll give a final score prediction on Friday, but I do like the Rams in this game, and I like them by 2 possessions, which means 10 points or more. And so yeah, we'll see. This week I did horrible. I had 16 picks, and I only got 6 out of 10 right. And it was a bad week. In fact, it's the worst week in 2 years for me. So we'll see if we can do better this week. Thursday, Bills are at the Dolphins. My first instinct was it's Dolphins are at home. Dolphins are ready to snap all this Bills curse that's going on. The Buffalo Bills struggled to do anything offensively. It really took. Josh Allen had to account for 4 touchdowns, and that was brutal. And 2 run, 2 in the air. I like Josh Allen, but he can't carry this team. I'm leaning Dolphins tomorrow night. I'm rooting for the Bills, but I'm leaning Dolphins. And if the Dolphins really want to punish them, I don't want to punish them too much because they're coming to Los Angeles pretty soon. Both teams are going to be in Los Angeles. Sunday, Raiders, Ravens. That's a boat race. I'll take the Ravens. Chargers, Panthers. I'll take the Chargers. Saints, Cowboys. I'm not a fan of either one of these teams, and if they both got sent to Moscow, I'd be thrilled. But I'm going with the Cowboys on this one. I think the Saints is a bit fool's gold because of they played the Panthers. Buccaneers at the Lions. That one a playoff rematch. 2 weeks in a row, playoff rematches for the Buccaneers or for the Lions. I'm sorry. That one should be interesting. I'm leaning Lions. Colts, Packers. Right now, I don't know who the quarterback is for the Packers, so I'm going Colts. Browns, Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence kind of not fulfilling quite what everyone's expecting him of yet versus Deshaun. Oh, yeah, I'm going with the Jaguars. 49ers and Vikings. Vikings beat the 49ers in Minneapolis last year. I'm going to go Vikings again. I'm going to go Vikings because everyone's loving the 49ers all of a sudden, and they got it against the Jets. And the Jets always find a way to mess things up. Seahawks, Patriots. I wish the Patriots would do the Rams a favor and win, but I'm going to go Seahawks there. Jets, Titans. Got to go Jets. If the Jets lose this game, Saleh should be fired. Flat out should be fired. Giants, Taxskins. I'm going Taxskins. Steelers at Broncos. I'm going to go Broncos because I think they're getting a little too giddy about Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. Bengals at Chiefs. I'm off the Bengal bandwagon for at least a month. That was a disgusting performance that they had on Sunday, and they made me look really bad. So I'm going with the Chiefs. Sunday night, Bears, Texans. Yeah, that's not a thrilling match. I'm going Texans over the Bears in a big way. Falcons at Eagles. Falcons play anything close to what they played last week, Eagles are going to blow them out. So we'll talk more about this stuff on Friday. And let's see here. I think we got it.
It was a stone group, my man.
All right. Let's see here. Steve Ramirez Cal, sponsored by UCLA. Tim Burns, my theory, Sanders kid is talented, but Dion goes to Colorado to bring his son in LeVar Ball type hype. Okay. LBJ hype is his kid at expense of game strategy, game management, and dare I say game integrity. Bill, do you think to me, do you think Witherspoon gets to play this week? I don't know. He knows the system. He hasn't been gone too long. There's possibility he could get some snaps, especially, hey, say it's a blowout and they just need to rest that toe of Kobe Durant's. Kobe Durant's. I could see that. Back to Tim in regards to Colorado, the real test of Deion's character is going to be, does he stay? Because I think if he leaves when his son leaves, unless Jerry Jones is offering him the Cowboy job, if he leaves with his son, his character's blown forever. He'll never get another gig. Not that maybe he doesn't even want the gig, but he needs to stay and prove that he really wants to coach. What a shame to go to that school, tell all the kids that were there before he got there, hey man, I'm coming and you guys better go, and driving off people, and then the guy stays 2 years. Not cool at all. On this day, September 11th, Rams trade Tommy McDonald to the Falcons for a 4th-round pick. That 4th-round pick comes to the Rams. The Rams deal that pick away again and ends up back with the Falcons. And that pick ends up being Jim Mitchell, tight end, former Pro Bowl tight end for the Falcons in the 70s. On this day in 1977, the Rams waive Freeman Johns, Jim Bertelsen, Mel Rogers, and Tom Dempsey. And then on this date, the Rams trade Greg Horton. 1978, they trade Greg Horton to Tampa Bay for a 3rd-round pick in 1981 that turns into 1980s defensive tackle Greg Meisner, who was with the Rams through most of the 80s. Let's see here. On this day in 1966, Rams win their first game against Atlanta. It's Atlanta's first game at the Coliseum. George Allen's first game, 19-14. On this day in 1980, Rams lose the Thursday night game to Tampa Bay. And let's see here. I think that's about 1988. I was at the Anaheim Stadium, saw the Rams beat the Lions 17-10. Tomorrow, September 12th. On September 12th, 1972, Rams cut Johnny Walton. On September 12th, 1982, Rams lose to Green Bay 35-23. September 12th, 1999, big day in Rams history. Week 1, Rams beat the Baltimore Ravens. Kurt Warner's first start, throws 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 to Isaac Bruce, 1 to Roland Williams, and 1 to Torrey Holt as he gets on that streak that takes the Rams to the Super Bowl. The irony is they kicked the Ravens' butt, and the Ravens in 2000 ended up shutting out everybody and going to the Super Bowl. That's pretty fascinating there. Yeah, so let's keep rolling here. Tim Powers, Jets played like anybody's. Here's the thing. Cardinals O-line is not the Lions O-line. I totally agree with you on that too, Mr. Powers. Back to the Jets and the 49ers. This was the thing that interests me about that game, is that people just grabbed the Kool-Aid. This isn't Kool-Aid. This is water. This is my Outsiders mug. Is people just took that game and said, oh, no one's going to stop the 49ers. No one's going to stop the 49ers. And here's what the deal is with the Rams. If this Rams defense stays healthy, this Ram defense is going to compete with the 49ers. And on top of that, Chris Shula is the DC. Chris Shula has been in the room through all these 49er disasters, through 3 different defensive coordinators, through Wade Phillips, through Brandon Staley, through Raheem Morris. So he's familiar with the 49ers. And those open looks, and again, I'm kind of pro Brock Purdy. Those open looks that Brock Purdy had against the Jets, I don't think he's going to get those against the Rams. The Jets were just completely outclassed. And I don't even know what to say unless Shanahan really knew something about Robert Saleh and the system and everything, that he knew where all the holes were, and Saleh didn't adjust, whatever it was. That Jet defense is so much better than it played. It has to be, right? And they played like, they were awful. They were horrid. I don't think that's going to happen with the Rams. I think if the Rams go into week 3 reasonably healthy, pick up the W this week, not overlook it. This game I was fearful of was being a trap game. I was fearful the Rams get so amped up against the Lions and then so ready to play the 49ers in week 3. My fear was that in week 2 they'd overlook the Cardinals and get their butts whooped. And, the injuries, no one wants injuries and no more injuries, knock on Formica. But the injuries have forced the Rams to zero in on this game. Week 3 is week 3. Right now it's about being 1-1, right? And this is not a game that you can give away, especially if it turns out to be one of those years where it's a slugfest and you're fighting out to get every win possible, in terms of you're not going to win 13 games, but you need to win 10. You need to win 11. Well, if you're going to win 10 or 11, you better beat the Cardinals, right? You better beat the Cardinals. So I think the Rams are focused, and I don't think there's going to be an issue against the Cardinals. And then I think the Rams, if they come out reasonably healthy, I think the 49ers are going to be surprised. I do. If maybe the 49ers won't be surprised, but I think 49er fans are going to be surprised because I love this defense. I know there's no Aaron Donald. I really like this defense. I look at this defense and I think of what it did on Sunday night. I think it gave up 13 points. You can forget about overtime, and then you can kind of throw away the busted play that Trey White did. This Ram team gave up 13 points to a Super Bowl contender. I think they're going to cause some fits for the 49ers. And I can see the Rams winning this game. They nearly won this game at SoFi a year ago. That's how close the Rams were to sweeping the 49ers last year. Of course, we know the end of season game was a throwaway game for both teams. But if you remember, the Rams were in that game until the pass went off Kyron Williams' hands last year. And the Rams very easily could have pulled out that game against Frisco. What was the final? 30-21? I'm trying to remember. But the Rams should have won that game. So it's not doom and gloom. It really goes back to the Poe comment that I started the show with. I don't know if any of you got to hear it, but Poe in Premature Burial said the boundaries which divide life and death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where the one ends and where the other begins? And the truth is, I think it's easy to dismiss the Rams right now, but do so at your own risk. Do so at your own risk. Steve Ramirez, I wonder how much Jimmy G can help with the defensive game plan versus the 49ers. Hey, that's a great call. That's a great call, Steve. I think so. I think it really helps that Chris Shula is the DC. McVay's still there. They're familiar with Shanahan, right? And I give Shanahan credit on this. He might have got schooled by Andy Reid. He knows how to add different things and different wrinkles. But Jimmy G sure doesn't hurt. Jimmy G would probably know the things that weren't run but were always, on the back burner or in the playbook, and give them an idea. So, yeah, that's a great call, Steve Ramirez. DHP, Note Boom is the Kyron Williams of the offensive line. Looks great, but injured way too often for his salary. The best ability is to play. I totally agree. Totally agree on that. I've been pro Note Boom because I think he did a great job in 2021. I had no problem with him giving the contract. I think he got a bad rap in 2022. He went down, after 4 or 5 games? Poor sample size, blows out his Achilles. And then last year, everyone was kind of turning on him. Alaric Jackson won the job. And I understand it. I understand it to a degree, but the Rams saw something, and the Rams are pretty good talent evaluators. Note Boom can play, but his body's betraying him. And here's something else. Note Boom was drafted in 2018? I know this sounds weird, but he's had an Achilles surgery. He's had other injuries. He's in his late 20s now, right? He's in his late 20s. And, not everyone has a body to play like Trent Williams does. And I'm hoping he snaps back. I'm glad they put him on the IR because, 3 weeks to 4 weeks, what's the difference? Put him on the IR, get him some rest. Let's see what he looks like after the bye week because you're not going to get rid of him in midseason. And then we'll see about Kyron Williams. I'm not for saving Kyron Williams. I'm not for using Kyron Williams sparingly. He's gone after next year, right? This is his 3rd year. He's got 1 more year with us. And the chances of the Rams re-signing him are very low, and they became even lower when the Rams drafted Blake Corum. So let's run Kyron Williams to death. Tim Powers, Whittington gets a chance to show his talent Sunday. Who would be the 4th receiver, right? If Tyler Johnson went up, you got Puka's out. You got Cooper, DeMarcus, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Whittington, or Tutu Atwell. The momentum seems to be all on Jordan Whittington's side, and that'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be exciting. I wish they could find a way to incorporate Tutu in there because I think his speed is going to kill somebody before the season is over. If not, I got to believe he's a trade candidate. And then we'll go from there. Maybe if the Rams trade Tutu, Tim Burns will get his dream, and the Rams will bring up Drake Stoops, right? But we'll go and let's just hope for a win first. Looking at this Ram schedule real quick here, This was something else that popped up. Where is it? The Rams got the 49ers after in week 3, and then in week 4 they get the Bears. Right? Did you see the Bears on Sunday? The Bears look pretty bad, and so they get the Bears in Chicago. And we talked about before the Bears get everything right, the Rams get them in Chicago, sunny Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning game, no bad weather. And so that's a game the Rams can win. And so the Rams can just start picking these off. Then in week 5, they get the Packers at home, likely without Jordan Love. Then they get the bye. So that's what the Rams are looking at right now. They take care of business against the Cardinals. They're 1-1. We believe they can beat the 49ers. I believe they can beat the 49ers in week 3. That would make them 2-1. They should, at this point, the way the Bears are playing, beat the Bears in week 4. That's 3-1. And then they get the Packers without Jordan Love in week 5. That could make them 4-1, and then you get the bye. Come back and you're playing the Raiders in week 7. You're 4-1 after the bye, and then in week 7 you get the Raiders, who by that time will be at Aiden O'Connell. Do you think they're going to stay with Gardner Minshew this whole time? And Antonio Pierce just made some real wacky calls in that Charger game. Rams could be 5-1. Then they get the Vikings and Sam Darnold at home on a Thursday night game. Do you like the Rams? If everything's even, do you like the Rams against the Vikings? I do. That's 6-1. And then week 9, to me, there's a serious one. You go to Seattle, because everyone's hot for Seattle right now. You go to Seattle and you find out what the Seahawks got. But the Rams could literally be 6-1 heading into week 9. 6-1. And then on the flip side of that, you got Seahawks, Dolphins, Patriots in New England, and then it's the Eagles on Sunday Night Football at home, at the Saints, Bills at home, and then at the 49ers, at the Jets, Cardinals at home, Seahawks at home. Rams got a favorable schedule. They got a winnable schedule, and some things are falling their way. Raiders don't look good. Vikings don't have their starting quarterback. Packers don't have their starting quarterback. Bears starting quarterback is starting to develop or trying to develop. And the big one here, the juggernaut, is take care of business against the Cardinals and get yourself ready to play the 49ers. So kind of exciting. All right, guys, I think I should probably let you go right now. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the thoughts. Thanks for hanging with me. Just a reminder, we're going to be at 5 o'clock on Friday. Next Monday, we're going to be on at 4 p.m. live. I don't want to be in competition with Monday Night Football. So next Monday, we're going to be live at 4, and we'll go from there. And if you guys have any thoughts, I did a Rams recap early Monday morning, just a quick little 5-minute, 10-minute job. If you guys are interested in me doing that, let me know. If you're interested in me doing it on a Sunday night, let me know. I don't want to stand talking in the wind, but I do enjoy getting on and rapping with you guys. All right. Stay cool. Stay good. And we will see you on Friday.